Rain out today, and the wife is going to be leaving. Going for a test. I'm staying here in my truck. I don't know. She was gonna Uber. I don't know if she's gonna drive herself or what, but well, the Asian lady, I call her because I don't know her name after all these years. I think her name is Jan, but man, she's out there walking and dedicated. Why is she like going over there? Oh, maybe because the street's flooded. She never walks on the sidewalk. Yeah, we had a heavy downpour for about 15 minutes, so that part of the street is flooded. There she goes. Rain or shine, snow, ice, doesn't matter. Good morning from sunny New Jersey. Mojunk. Yeah, well, it's not sunny here, so I don't know if the wife made up her mind or what. I don't see the car backing out of the driveway, and I thought maybe that car that just went by was an Uber, but it's not. So, you know, looking to see if she's. It's pouring rain out, so I don't know. I mean, I feel bad. I'm not there, right there at her side, but you know what? I fixed the tie rod end. You know what I mean? If you choose to use your car, go ahead. Hey, if this live stream gets interrupted, that's because she's calling or texting. Well, texting doesn't knock out the video, but dialing the phone number does. It'll stop the live stream dead. Then it gets all glitchy and stuff. Let's see. Who's commenting? Gil Skills, good morning. Hanging with John Wild, good morning. King. Sometimes I like to get out in my Florida and just walk around as is wrecking havoc on this live stream. King has taken a B something. B bird. I don't know what that is. Gil Skills says King has taken a couple of B something. B Burnham? LOL? Mr. Gills, good morning. You are buffering a bit on your... Yeah, was lightning and thundering, it wreaks havoc on that. And when people text me, like the wife, or if she calls, that like totally dead stops this live stream. But I don't see her leaving. I don't know if she's waiting for the Uber or if she's going to take herself. I'm awaiting that. I mean, I'm all good, I've been negative all along. I'm, you know, I got the clean bill of health. We're still not a family yet. This has been, in all total, from the little verbal squabble and the little standoff that I got into about a week and a half before this all began to this current day right now. It's been at least 3 weeks of staying in the car and a couple of days at a hotel. This is uh, this is ridiculous. And I miss my kids, being around. Oh, it's not the worst, I guess. I think other things could be more. Things could be much worse, I guess. Right? Well, I'm still on this. I'm still on the upside of the earth, so. Do you think that? You think that tire machine is sitting in that truck like that, kind of upside down, or rather sideways? Do you think the rain's going to bother it, or it's not electric? It's air powered. I like your positive thinking, my friend. Well, I mean, what else can you do? I mean, I'm still really depressed, but nowhere near as depressed as like, you know, come on, I just want to get this over with. You know, let's get the let's get the scientific proof that there's no germs. You know what I mean? Once again, let's go through it. Scrapping cash. Hi, everyone. I noticed, like, you know, even though they didn't officially open up the state of Illinois, like, there's like probably only like 4 cars parked on the street today, where at the height of this there was probably about 40 cars on the street, parked, and then like every driveway was just filled with cars. Everybody was home pretty much at certain hours, not all day, but uh, like in the evening, probably like around like 9 o'clock at night. you know Everybody's home. Whereas, normally you would have about half that because people are up 24/7. Does that make sense? It was like it was Christmas morning, or Thanksgiving Thanksgiving morning. What day is like everybody just at home? I would say Thanksgiving morning. So at certain periods of the day, it was like Thanksgiving morning every day, with just everybody home at certain hours. It's like downpouring, and then it stops, and then it just drizzles a little bit, and then it comes down super heavy. Like, I'm claiming it won't be enough to like really even flood the backyard, because I think we're only supposed to get like maybe 1.5 inches of rain. But at periods, it's coming down really hard. Keep looking around the grass. There's like a cat lurking around in the bushes there. And if I tilt the camera certain ways, it gets all bright and white. There must be some operation of the lens. That almost looks like it's sunny on the house right there. Look at that. That's more like it. That's what it really looks like. That would be like a sunny day. Yeah. It's not like that today. Who's commenting? Good to see you, Gil Skills. Great to see you, Scrapping Cash. Hello, Scrap Kingdom. That's Scrapping Cash. How many people are here today? 14. That's impressive to see a very bored guy sitting in a pickup truck for the umpteenth day, right? I mean, I guess I could go scrapping, but you know what? I didn't want to I didn't want to my wife be sitting home alone and there's nobody around at all. At least she could look out the window and see that I'm here. You know what I mean? Just like the presence of being here instead of sitting in the home all alone. That's horrible. You know what I mean? You know, I'm, I'm, I'm doing my best. I mean, the best way I know how to handle it. I know there's all kinds of YouTube things and Google, things that you could look up about keeping in the same quarters as somebody that is ill with this. But you know what? Out of a massive abundance of caution, I don't get enough sleep. Out of a massive overreaching, and I'll stay here. Okay, that's simple. I think the only reason why it hasn't worn me down physically is because I'm not really doing anything. I'm not hardly eating a whole lot of food either, because not I'm not working. So there's no mega appetite. Like somebody commented, I was talking about fast food, they're like, what are you doing for food? I'm like, well, it's, go to the gas station and get, packaged donuts and maybe, a bottle of juice and a bottle of milk and, you know, I'm not going to have a Thanksgiving meal and gorge myself if I'm not doing anything. I'm not burning calories, right? So if you're not burning a lot of calories, you're burning a lot of calories yapping. Yeah, I know, right? If you're not really burning a whole lot of calories, cutting the grass and restacking that pickup truck there with the junk that's in it and taking the tire machine out of this truck, putting it in there is not what, and tinkering on the truck and the car. And I tried to take the buzzer out of this car, but I really tried. I took the bottom panel off. I even put the bottom panel in there. But I guess there's more parts you have to take apart on the dashboard to access it. It also looks like you gotta take the fuse box panel out. So the fuse box panel is loose, so you could turn it around to reach at the buzzer. The only other way is to, defeat the pin switch that's in the door jamb. But then the lights won't go on, when you open the door. Well, I don't know. I don't know how much that matters, but then I won't get a power supply for my iPhone if I disconnect all that, because if you look, I got this wire ghetto rigged into the ceiling light and it runs down along under the seat here, and I got the power supply for my iPhone because the cigarette lighter things in here all discombobulated and I can't figure out the wiring malfunction. It was easier to figure out how to tap into the ceiling light than to figure out what all the wiring that's bad here. Like that overdrive switch thing that's defeated somehow, the radio. I was looking at that. It looks like the previous owner probably attempted to do something like the antenna cable was pulled out. I just think the radio is dead, or the wire. I've checked the fuses. That's when people will replace car radios with the aftermarket, kind that you buy at Walmart or wherever, Best Buy or whatever. And those are the kind of radios that get stolen out of your car. You know what I mean? Because they're universal. Like, ain't nobody gonna try and steal that thing. So if I got a factory radio working, that would be great. But I like to listen to talk radio, but you know what? Not in the past couple of months. It's kind of hard to like want to even listen to that because there's only one thing being talked about. It's like, oh, there's no sports or anything else going on. So, yeah, Rush Limbaugh. Huh? Yeah, I mean, I can listen to him for. I used to be able to listen to him for long stretches, but in the past few months, I kind of want to avoid it because it's just that one topic. Pretty much, the disease that's going around. I don't want to hear about it. You know what I mean? It's just too much. Plus, that guy is not on the radio as much as he used to be anymore because he's dying of lung cancer. It's been hard to listen to talk radio lately. Yep. Uh, and the only thing else is, on the radio is like, no matter what station you listen to, it's songs that get replayed over and over and over again and over again. Did I say over again? Whether it's, and I'm gonna offend almost everybody, but whether it's like classic rock, I mean, for God's sakes, when do people get tired of listening to the same stupid song from 1989 or 1979 or 1975? You know what I mean? When have you heard it enough? Like people complain about like pop radio. Like, wow, the song is on the radio constantly. Not for long. It'll be replaced by something else. But the classics, they keep being played over and over and over. And you know what? None of those guys are Bach or Beethoven, all right? I don't care who they are, whether it's like the Beatles or Bruce Springsteen or, I don't know, all of them. None of them. What really kills me is like when record labels keep pushing, that's going to send me onto a tangent, keep pushing talent that's dead. The artist is dead and has been dead for years, and they're still playing the song. Okay, that's like, you know, you're new talent and you're trying to break into the industry, and you're not only competing with other people that are alive, but you're competing with people that have been dead for decades. How fair is that? That's that's one angle of like the entertainment industry that's like that really sucks. You got to compete with dead people. A new Prince album drops this summer. Yeah, right? Like completely maybe remastered and why? Don't. That's like Elvis and all that other crap. Just, I mean, sure, keep it out there, but you know what? Like to have it, in constant hot competition in the background, how are you supposed to break and create new talent? It's got one extra. It's like a wall that's there, present, constant. If you're in the entertainment industry, you're competing with even being a movie actor and stuff like that. You're competing with old movies. You know, in a certain degree, you're competing with dead actors, dead talent. Like why? He had over 1,000 unreleased songs. They plan to release them all over the years to come. That's just unfair. Okay, in a certain way, isn't that unfair? You're competing with a dead artist. That's unfair. It's actually maddening. I mean, sure, people like them. I mean, my wife likes My wife likes Prince. We went to a couple of the concerts. They were pretty good, but you know what? That's when he was alive, right? He's not alive anymore. I'm not saying never play the songs, but you know what? Not only are they playing the ones that he made like years ago, but now they're going to release stuff that was never released. It's not fair. Just listen to sports radio. Maryland Mike. There's nothing. I mean, there's sports talk, but talking about trades and stuff like that. But there's really not a lot going on in sports. Same as news on TV. The same. Yep, unimportant crap. Rain. Wonder how long until it gets here. You know what? I don't know if it's moving south. I think the rain up here is coming from the west. So I didn't look at the weather radar, but you're 200 miles from me, so you got a completely different climate. You're still in Illinois, but you know, mid central and southern Illinois is a totally different climate, actually. Than just being here in Joliet is actually a different climate than being in Chicago. We get different weather, actually. Okay, well, yeah, hanging with John Wild. Today's music sucks. Make better music, and they won't be worried. Well, people have been saying that for years. I mean, ever since I was a kid. Oh, today's music sucks. I mean, that's a old mantra, you know. I won't totally agree, and I won't totally disagree with that. Keep talking. Keep those demons away from your thoughts. Oh, this. What's the agenda on for today? Well, I don't know. It's skills. I mean, it's raining, and I'm still waiting for the wife to leave. And if she leaves, then I can go to the gas station. I can get something to eat. You know, there, and I can bust out of this area right here where I'm just sitting. I I mean, sure, I can go around in the yard and get rained on, but I already cut the grass, so you know, the grass is fine. I mean, maybe I could get a weed whacker to get that little part right there, but trim around the bottom of the trees and stuff like that. But I'm sure after this rain, like in a couple of days, the grass is going to need to be cut again. By like July and August, the grass, if you don't water it, it doesn't grow. The grass doesn't grow, you don't need to mow it. Okay. I remember my cousin telling me that years and years ago. It's the best advice I've ever heard. Don't water the lawn. You don't want to water the lawn. Let Mother Nature take care of that. Do not, like people water their lawn. Do not water the lawn. If you want to water the lawn, then you must want to cut the grass. No, I don't want to cut the grass. Then don't water the lawn. Okay, you kids out there, if you don't want to cut the grass, don't water the lawn. Lay in the yard and feel the natural rain soak on your body. Yeah, then I'll be all like soaking, stinking wet, and then I'll catch the chills. You know what I mean? I don't want to. This isn't Florida. Hanging with John Wild. You could do that in Florida because it's like steamy hot. Something about Florida makes you want to do that. Hey, you scrappers, morning guys. So let's see. I don't even know what time it is here, so I think it's like 9 o'clock. So 9, so it's almost midnight. It's almost morning in Australia again. Well, it's near midnight. Melissa, hi. Who else is coming? Oh, you can hear that, Gills? Bob, you can hear the sound of the rain? Yeah, I guess it is tranquil. It's it's not a downpour anymore, and you can see in the street the street's not it's not flooded anymore. That puddle, there's like a I don't know, like the road goes into like a little pitch right there, and it tends to flood a little bit, like in front of our house. Because I think, well, if you look down the block, it doesn't look like it, but at the end of the block, it's about 20 feet higher in elevation than at the end of the block. So the road kind of it looks flat, but it's not. It's like goes down. Reading from us here in Germany, Carol Baker. Hello, hello, Carol Baker. Yeah, certain with this iPhone, certain sounds are like more. They're they're louder. The microphone really is, especially the buzzer. There's something about the buzzer. That buzzer is not loud. It's very quiet. But there's something about it. Or when I close the door, that's really loud on the speaker on this iPhone. There's other sounds that are kind of loud here, but they're not can't be heard as well. I don't know because I've got feedback from people over the time that I've been doing these videos, and that's what they report back to me. I really enjoy watching you, Marty. You have a great personality. Do I? I thought maybe my little tinge of autism, being, you know, uh, having Asperger's was kind of like makes my personality very stilted, and I'm kind of like there's that other YouTube channel, Simply Me. He's somebody that's got Asperger's. He's like, we can be very Vulcan, like like Spock, which is true. Like you're very intelligent. Yeah, well, you know what? The intelligence is crap because the social skill set is like an F minus, and that's only because I don't pick up on social cues like other people do. Like like when you're in a restaurant, everybody's ordering everybody's ordering off the menu. And like one day it dawned on me, when people are ordering off the menu, it seems to me as if everybody's ordering something that they could finish in about the same amount of time as everybody else. Does that make sense? Like, okay, so I would order, a gluttonous amount of food, and then I'd have like this plate and then a side plate, and then look around and realize one day I looked around and realized like, oh wow, no wonder everybody is finished maybe before me. Everybody's like staring at me, and I'm still going looking around. What? Still eating, and it's like people are like, "We finished yet? Can we go?" Uh, that's after all these years. That's something I only like in recent times that it just like dawned on me. Nobody's ever like told me, "Hey, you know what? Why don't you get? I'm getting one a hamburger and a fry, and maybe a side dish, why don't you get something that you can finish in about the same amount of time as everybody else? Okay, if somebody actually came out and spelled that out to me, I'd be like, oh, Well, it took me years to figure that out, so I don't even know if that makes sense to you guys, but that's my life experience. It makes you unique to watch. King, Melissa Gill is my sister's account. Oh, okay. My nieces love to pop in from time to time. Apparently, they wanted to be okay, maybe a visit. That's good. Thanks. My internet is cutting out. I have to go. Bye. Okay. Hell no. You eat places and me hanging with John Wild. Hell no. All you eat places and me 2 hours or more. I say sit, enjoy it, feasting time. Okay, well, see, there you go, John. That's the way I would rather be. Like, I would rather like eat and when I'm done, okay, well, all right. Hey, if you're still eating something, I'll go. I'll have dessert. Maybe I'll have some vanilla ice cream or something. But if everybody's like, looks like this is a sit down restaurant situation now. Okay, I'm not talking about like a fast food place where like McDonald's and you're eating inside the restaurant. Where this that's not really an issue at a place like that because everybody's basically eating the same thing anyway, so you're not gonna lag behind too much in an environment like that. I'm talking about like places like a Greasy Spoon, like a mom and pop like type of restaurant or something like that, or a really small chain type of thing where you have this menu, and the not to make everybody crazy, but long before this virus thing, okay, long before, you know, I obsess about uh like the menu. The menu at the restaurant has long been known to carry the most amount of fecal matter germs of any object in the restaurant. So all that goes through my mind when the waitress comes out with a stack of menus is like, oh crap. I don't really want to touch that thing. So people look at me when I grab the corner of the of the menu, or I just try and invent off the top of my head what they might have generically speaking, and just order that without ever opening the menu. That way, I don't have to touch it. It's like the same thing with like the shopping cart. You know, the first thing that I do is I take where the kiddie seat is at. The first thing I do when I get the shopping cart is I close it. That way, I'm not tempted to put anything in the child seat. Okay, because the child seat is crawling with fecal bacteria. Golden Corral. Oh yeah, well, there's a there, there's a Golden Corral right right here in Joliet, right there on Route 52. I call it the food trough, and every every fat human being that exists on the planet here in Joliet is bellying up to the food trough. Parking lot is filled. Okay, every day filled. With people going in there in the food trough, massive heaps of piles of food. Cringes. Yep. Old Corral cringes every time I show up. That's because John Wild is going to go wild. Hope I didn't offend you by that, but every time I'm driving by there, like, wow, look at the size of them people. You should speak, King. Look at you. You're 300. I know, right? I visit you and I will destroy it. You know what? You might think you will destroy it, but you know what? The Joliet Golden Corral has withstood far greater. It's still there. Yep, very popular place. Food's cheap. I don't even think there's any restaurants. Well, yeah, there's like a mom and pop, like a steakhouse. It's kind of like really run down looking, and it doesn't have like hardly any windows on it. Maybe one time when I'm out and about and driving, I'll show it to you. I think it's called Al's Steakhouse. It's across the street from a BP gas station and a Walgreens, and then on the opposite side is a Golden Corral. Every time I look at the Al's Steakhouse, I'm like, why would you even want to go in there? The place looks like, uh, like the owners haven't done anything for the parking lot in like 20 years, and most of the parking lot lights are broken. If you see that, the family is just squeezing every last penny out of it, and they're not putting anything into it. My wife asked you if you could turn the camera to the house. She never saw it. It's just your very generic, typical run-of-the-mill American home. Made out of plastic. See that siding right there? That's all plastic. There's a basketball hoop that I found. It was in perfect condition. The wife's leaving. I guess she decided to take herself. Oh, I wonder whether there's a problem with the brake light switch on the brake pedal. After I did that power booster job over a year ago, there's something went wrong with the brake light switch. I'm getting off on another subject. I'll get back to that. But sometimes all the brake lights stay on, so I have to. Yeah, it's just your typical, just like one across the street. Okay, you see that? All that siding, that's just plastic. It's like shit. Well, I don't want to swear. It's like crappier plastic than this cheap Dodge plastic. The plastic siding on American homes is like this would be, if home builders use this type of plastic right here, it would be a massive upgrade. You see, like, in the media, when you see like tornado strikes, and these houses are all like, ripped to shreds. Well, yeah, PVC. Well, okay, PVC is plastic. It's garbage. You get good wind, and then the wind gets underneath a couple of panels of that plastic and just rips it off right off. You guys still there? Okay. The phone rang. It dropped out. Anyway, my wife said as she was going down the block that there looks like, you want to go along with me? Another bill of ibuprofen. Another pill of ibuprofen. What does that mean? Gina didn't say bye. You two are still fighting? No, she just caught. The phone rang, and that's why the video cut out. Well, I'm not fighting anymore. That fight's. I'm an obstinate mother, BB, sometimes, and when I get into a right-wrong argument, I like stand my ground and I don't budge. So I okay, well I'm gonna stay out here. If you don't agree with me that I'm staying out here, well, that turns into something else, and it's remained that way. Okay, so it's like anyway. No, she's not fighting at all. I'm not going to the doctor with her. Okay, I'm remaining away. Okay, there's no reason for me. I fixed the car. I don't need to be. Okay, I don't want to. I'll wait until she's got a stamp of, you know, you're negative, I mean, stamp of good health, and, you wipe down all the knobs and the door handles and stuff like that before I even go in the house. This is where I will remain. This is home. Until then. So anyway, she said that when she went down the end of the block and she turned left, I guess, yeah, that she's not sure what it is, if it's a muffler or a catalytic converter, but it's laying over there on that kind of busy street at the end of her block. She's like, I don't know if it's a muffler or a catalytic converter, but it's laying right there by a mailbox, so you guys can come along with. Hopefully the signal doesn't drop out. I don't know, I always put the seatbelt on once the car is moving for some reason. It's not mandatory to wear a seatbelt if you're going in reverse. You don't have to wear the seatbelt. And if you're making frequent stops and not going over 17 miles an hour, supposedly you don't have to wear a seatbelt. But then try arguing that with the cop, even if the cop knows the law right there, Okay, so she claimed that she seen it along. I think she said it was this way. I stopped looking in the mirror at which way she turned, but I don't see anything. Unless somebody grabbed it. Or unless the Amazon van that I passed up was blocking it. Unless she went the other way towards the mall, because I know you gotta take the highway to get to the place where she's going to be tested, which is, it's the hospital, is the drive-through one. Oh, there's something here. What the heck's this stuff? Buzz. Alright, kids. Sorry to leave you alone. I can't imagine that if she did go this way, she thought that stuff was mufflers. I mean, I guess you could have. It was fluorescent light fixtures still in cardboard, wet cardboard. So I guess a blind man on a fast horse might misidentify those objects as something else. I mean, I've done it as a scrapper many times. You know what I mean? It's like a scrap mirage. That's what I call it. Like you're looking ahead and you think it's one thing, and the closer you get to it, it starts changing. If that makes sense. Like up ahead, if you think you see like a barbecue and it suddenly turns into an air conditioner. It's a scrap mirage. I don't remember if she said turn left or turn right. Well, that's what I found when I turned left. And it wasn't by a mailbox. That's the identifier. She said it was by a mailbox. Or maybe I didn't go far enough down that street. Okay, maybe I need to, let's see. I'm just using the logical route. If she did turn this way, she would have gone down this street that I just turned down. I'm not holding onto the camera. Well, I will now, just for a second. I don't want to move the placement around too much. So this is the road she would have, oh, okay. Here we go. That would not be, I'll put you kids right here. That would not be a catalytic converter, although it does look like it. That would be a muffler. I'll take your kids out for a second. I don't want to get the phone wet because it's raining out. But that's definitely a muffler. Yeah, Volkswagen Audi emblem on there, so most definitely a muffler. Hey, but good eye, you know. The wife has a scrapping eye. There are catalytic conversions. Okay, now that's... Okay, what are you guys saying? Let me check you out. That's a good scrapping eye. Love the live... Marilyn Mike, love the live streaming. Live scrapping, love it. Like hot women until you get close, then... Yes, you know what, John? You know what about like hot women? You know what I hate about, those gigantic sunglasses? They're like the size of like windshields, right? Well, damn, man, like more than half your face is covered up. You can't really see whether you're hot or not. It's just like what I call the car cover. Women wear. You know what the car cover is, right? Like loose, baggy jogging pants and a loose fitting hoodie. So you got your body in a car cover. Can't really well, it's a female, okay, because you can see certain shapes, just like looking at a Corvette. Well, that's a Corvette, but I'm not sure what year, That's the car cover. Is that a Cadillac or is it a Ford Crown Victoria? Oh, wait a minute. Okay, the roofline pillar is a little bit squared out. It's probably a Cadillac. Oh, okay. Car cover. Car cover close. So answering your like hot women until you get close. Then there's a really cool product out. It's been out for a while. It's made of a mixture of recycled shampoo. Oh boy. What else? And laundry bottles, in laundry bottles, plastic bags, waste, sawdust. So much better, last longer. Hmm. Oh, buffering, it's a joke. Sorry about that. Oh, okay, duh. Skills. Another pill of ibuprofen. Ah, got it. See, that's the Asperger's in me. Not completely getting the sarcasm. You know what I mean? Like, sarcasm constantly. Like, some sarcasm I get. You know what I mean? I could be sarcastic sometimes. It's a very tricky. Being sarcastic is very. Especially when a conversation is serious all along, and then there's a sarcastic line thrown in the conversation. It's like, my program is still running on serious conversation, and there's like a sarcastic line thrown there, and that'll throw me like, that'll give me a 90-degree curveball. I will not be on track until you like update my program. There's the Vulcan in me. What's that? It's not even scrap day in the hood over here. I guess people are so used to me, like in the neighborhood, scrounging around a little bit before I go about my day. They'll put stuff out. What's this? Is that a rotor? Nope, another scrap mirage. It's just a couple of rocks. But the way the rocks were positioned by the mailbox, it looked like two car rotors stacked on top of each other. Oh, you know what I really hate? It's when I see a scrap mirage. Oh, look, nasty teeth. When I see a scrap mirage and I slow down, and there's a couple of like women like sitting on the front porch, and they can't figure out for the life of them why this creepy guy is slowing down. They're driving this scrap truck with all the garbage in the back of it. The only reason they can figure is like creep. All right, well, I went the wrong way because I couldn't remember whether the wife said left or right, and I have a hard time with left and right anyway, so it's a crapshoot when you tell me to go turn left or turn right. It's a crapshoot whether I'm going to be able to follow those directions because I don't know. I have to think about, okay, each time I have to think, this is my left hand and this is my right hand. It's better to tell me, go that way. Oh, okay. It's very direct. Saying left and right is somewhat abstract. Is this thing overheating? Okay, because earlier this morning, when I fired it up, I guess, that stop leak stuff only worked for a little bit, and the radiator leak has resumed. Let's see what people are commenting on now. Last scrapping. Love the last scrapping. I told my date, this is Jen Will, last night we should buffer. Boy, was she surprised. We should buffer. What? No matter what, the driveway I block when scrapping. Someone will want to leave. Oh yeah, hanging with John Wild. That's my. Well, I'm sure the people trying to come or go are pet peeves too, but I don't care. Just pick any driveway, and suddenly, you hear the car like with the remote starter. First it's like the remote alarm, like boop boop, and then all of a sudden the car starts up. Like, are you sending me a message not to block your driveway, or is this car leaving right now? Okay, or if it's not that and it's an empty driveway, I'm blocking the driveway for like 30 seconds, and then there's a car just sitting there. Like, oh, why are they sitting there? Oh, they have to come into this driveway. Of all the driveways on the block, there's like 40 of them. They have to come into this driveway. Okay, I'll put down what I'm doing. Get back in the truck and move. Okay. Sorry. Usually people don't get too, they don't show like visible anger or verbal anger. They're patient, but you can tell they're like, can this guy go, please? You know? Well, there's worse things. I'm surprised my allergies are not like, kicking in too much. I'm not really allergic to the flowering trees. It's like the grass. So apparently the grass in the ragweed season here isn't too bad. Because the dandelions aren't really, I don't know. They're not, this time of the year usually they're like, the ragweed and the dandelion are like they're on a roll. But the one thing that makes me like get allergies, runny eyes and stuff like that is those cottonwood trees, and they usually start, it's like little cotton balls that start flying through the air. That usually starts about June 1st. Ugh. Those things are horrendous. I'm sure they're not, all over the country, but, in certain parts of this country, there's little fuzzball things. Not the dandelion ones, but the ones that come off the cottonwood tree. There's quite a few of them around here in, like, northwest Indiana. Especially northwest Indiana, there's a lot of those kind of trees. It's like, there's not so many of them in Joliet, but there's a lot more in Chicago. We have the emerald ash tree, okay, and there's a few that are surviving. Like, there's one right there by the plastic fence. But, this is a more or less mature neighborhood. But as you can see, every house had a tree planted in front of it. But you see how there's like lots of houses that have no trees by the curbside, and the only trees that remain are like maples and stuff like that. Like that's a maple tree, and that's because of some other pest from China, and there's the emerald ash borer. And in a matter of like 3 or 4 years, almost every emerald ash tree around here was completely dead, including the one like next door. The guy finally like chopped it down, and that pest came over in shipping containers in there, the wooden crates and stuff like that, so the bugs spread throughout the country because of the rail and transport network. It was a matter of a short amount of time where that pest spread, and it, like the Interior Department or whoever controls, like, the Agriculture Department tried to, like, control, the spread of the pest, okay? There was another attempt at controlling the spread of something, and it failed, okay? The pest spread anyway. They made all kinds of rules and laws about moving firewood, and you don't hear those ads anymore about not moving firewood. Like, you weren't allowed to move, like, chopped trees. any more than a certain amount of, because they didn't want the bug to spread, but the bug had wings and the bug spread anyway. So there you go. I mean, that, that effort to stop that failed massively. That's, and now there's no trees of that kind anymore. It was kind of dumb on the part of the city to go and plant the same kind of tree all along, right? Because if something happens, then they're all going to be gone. You put a variety there, and it will only affect a few, or you know what? Actually, none of them will get sick and die because there's different species spread apart, and it won't go from one to another. Oh yeah, terrifying murder hornets invade an infestation of the new giant wasps. Could be devastating and deadly. Yeah, well, it's just another fear thing. You know, no matter what. Okay, that's all. Yep, murder hornets. Okay, not gonna worry about it. I mean, there's an asteroid out there, I guess, that's supposedly coming closer and closer to Earth every time it goes. Okay, yeah, eventually it's going to get drawn in by the Earth's gravity and it's going to collide. Unless we send a nuclear bomb there to blow it into bits, or, use some kind of rocket technology to attach to it to nudge it off course. And what will that do? Well, if that made it careening towards Earth, or if they blow it up into a bunch of smaller bits, well, we're going to get hit with some of them then, right? It's nature. I mean, we think we have control over nature, but we don't, because we're part of nature. And that takes me back to the subject of pollution. Is it, I think about this. Is what man does, no matter what we do, is it really pollution, or is it actually just another natural act? Okay? Because humans are just another animal, right? And what we do with the materials on Earth is no different, really, if you really distill it down, okay? No different than what other animals do with whatever. Only what we do is a little bit more sophisticated. So maybe that's what nature wanted. Nature needed something of a change agent. And that would be humans being able to manipulate compounds and stuff like that. Because without actual hands on touch, nature couldn't do that on its own, even though we are part of nature. So we are a natural force. So I don't really think there is a such thing as pollution. Okay? There is, in a certain degree, like you could contaminate, water or something like that, and, the drinking water, and it's got lead in it, right? In your glass of drinking water, because the pipes are leaking or whatever. John Wild. Now that would be a party of all parties. Yeah, meteor party. It would be like almost like a horror movie. Scrap and Pallet Man. News organizations views and monetization. Yep. Bleeds, it leads. Absolutely. Because you get the eyeballs. You get the eyeballs, then you have a place where you could put the advertisement. Advertisers are constantly looking for where the eyeballs are looking. So now the eyeballs are looking at the iPhones and, the monitors and the gadgets. Well, that's where the ads are. Yep, so Yeah, the wife's not mad at me. There's proof right there. Mm. Made a video proof. I gotta show the world because I showed the world that she was mad at me. So she's not mad at me, but you know what? You know, keeping my distance from her because let this thing be gone. You know what I mean? So we can become a family again. Yeah, I noticed like I watched like Tucker Upper and Sammy and stuff like that. And the thing that drives me nuts about these like YouTube videos is it's just him and her, right? But they're wearing masks. They're putting together packages for the eBay store or something, and they're just with each other and they're doing that. This this is necessary, I guess, and plenty of situations like if you're in a situation where you don't know if somebody's going to come up on you, given these times, like when you're out and about, like going to this grocery store, gotta have that. You know what I mean? Because you don't know if people in the grocery store are going to get too close to you. So I guess this is more for their protection than yours. Okay, because if you have a cough, the cough's not going to go flying. But this is a symbol of fear. Okay, it's a symbol. It's making it adds to the fear mongering. All right, and might be, but you know, I get it. Don't put it on. I don't know. It's such a crazy, touchy subject. I just want to get away from it. I just think when I see it, I just see it as a symbol of it makes it plays on people's brains and it owns you and just message rejected. The message off. Good morning, Scrap Pallet Man. Well, it's what 950 something. Every time my ex got mad at me, I made a bubble bath with flowers and candles. It worked every time. Yeah, well, okay. The bathtub is really small. I know. I guess we could do something else, but my wife doesn't like to sit in the bath. Bathtub is small, and yeah. If we got like a little bit bigger bathtub, it wouldn't be. It'd be okay. Yeah. That was nice. I mean, that's something to do. I didn't do it. It was more of a mutual standoff. I guess I was more of the jerk. Like I'm going to stand off. I'm going out here. I'm going to stand my ground. This is where I've remained. We're not mad at each other though. I mean, I guess everybody's family situation is different. So we never get physical. So there's like there's never a punch landed. There's never a push. There's never hands on. There's nothing like that. There's a lot of crazy people out there that get physical and stuff like that. It's like that's a female, okay, and that's how I was raised. That's a female. You do not touch. You do not. You get angry, pout in the car, okay. If you're gonna be that pissy, go outside, pout in the car, go do something else. Get away from it. Everything simmer down. If you're gonna have a standoff, have a standoff. But nope. No, Gil Skills, exactly, King. Yep. Have your little quabble and standoff because you're a guy. Okay, that's a female. You brought her into your life. You know, it's you're not going to then take that because you own that, okay? She has your name. You're not going to take that and then destroy it. If you have problems like that, you just, go that way. That way until your minds and your feelings over that little petty little issue will be completely forgotten about, because I'm sitting here thinking about exactly what was it that we were arguing about, and you know what? I don't even remember exactly what it was, because you know what? It mustn't have. It didn't matter. It's gone. It's long gone and over with. In some relationships, punches are landed, and you know what? The damage is permanent. There is no forgetting about it. You know what I mean? Because there's a broken bone or there's a broken rib. So that fight, lives on forever, instead of just, keeping separate. You want to have a standoff, then have a standoff, and it will simmer down and it'll be long forgotten about. What was that we were fighting about? Boy, that must have been stupid. I don't even know. That's the way I operate. Nothing is that important. That the thing I fear about doing the live shows is it makes my channel like that. I always laugh because that the guy is such a character. Uh, the channel, The Planet Earth. Yeah, even if you're watching me, go to my channel for a minute and go look up that channel, and no, I would swear like 99.9% of his videos are him behind the wheel of a car driving. Words, that's true. Can't be unsaid. Well, yeah, I mean, in words, if you like, if you say, I hate you, I wish I never married you, but it never gets like that. That gets to be arguing like, you know, why didn't you put the laundry, why didn't you turn the washing machine on? You mean all the towels stayed in the washing machine all day, and then the water gets funky because we got well water. If you leave the wash sitting in the washing machine all long, you open it up and it's like, ooh, it's gonna have to be rewashed again. So you do stuff like that. That starts a fight. Like, well, then why didn't you do it? I mean, but yeah, if your verbal argument gets into like insults and FUs and stuff like that, and I wish I never. Yeah, that's hurtful and can't be undone. But the fights never go that far. The verbal arguments, are like, well, oh, then you know what? Maybe you should have done it, or excuse me, I'm sorry, I forgot. Okay, I apologize, but it happened. I didn't take the wash and put it in the dryer, for example, or I didn't put the gallon of milk in that compartment in the refrigerator door where it's supposed to go, instead on the shelf, because you know what, it's a lot easier. You open up the door in the refrigerator, put the gallon of milk on the shelf instead of putting it in like the little cooler thing that's in the door. It's got a little air hole in it for. That's the part of like like, hey, this gadget, go off on another tangent. This gadget has all these features. Well, you know what? If you think about it, all those extra little fancy features might be better off for somebody that lives alone. Okay, because the more gadgets and fancy features that it has, then those are more quibble spots. You know what I mean? If you don't do it, uh, you know, if the appliance is basic and simple, well, there's only so many missteps you can make with it. But if it's like got all these fancy features and stuff, I don't know. My point is, if you get gadgets that are more complex, then there's more little pitfalls for you to like get trapped into. Stress causes arguments. Yep, we lash out to the nearest and dearest because they're there. Stress can do that. A stress-induced fight, but the argument that we got into, I don't even know if it was. Uh, I guess it was more out of frustration that I didn't do what she asked. Okay, that I went off and did something else and completely forgot or neglected whatever it was her request was. And I think now you're like jogging my mind because this has happened a few times over the years. Like, I'm like, well, you know what? Just text me your request, and then I'll have it. I have something to look at. And she's like, oh, you could be looking at me from the outside, like that kind of stuff, or you wanna have a standoff, then have a standoff. But it never gets verbal insults and teardowns. She wouldn't be around anymore. I mean, she probably would have boogied a long time ago. Who wants to live a life like that? Putting up with, being insulted every day? Nobody. Or at least I know she wouldn't. Hanging with Jen Wild. That's why no wife's for me on. Oh, wife like that. That's gonna happen with a girlfriend then. You have a girlfriend, she's gonna eventually, complain about something that you're doing, right? And then if you really like the girlfriend, then you got the stress. Come on, John. Then you have the stress of worrying about whether she's going to want to talk to you again. A healthy relationship includes arguments. The making up part can be worth it. Oh yeah, we've made up. I mean that you know we're not fighting. Okay, remember this, Paul. I'm outside here. I'm not still fighting. Okay, I out of a massive overreaching over heaps and piles of crazy um, abundance of overcaution, I remain outside. Okay? No, there's videos of people living in the same quarters, under the same roof with somebody that is sick and they're not getting the disease because, they're wearing gloves. You know what? It's my house. I don't want to have to like pretend like it's 12 monkeys and stuff like that. And uh, you know, I'd rather, you know, she's cured, wipe the refrigerator down, the doorknobs and all that stuff, and then I'll come in. Okay, after it's gone, I get yourself back. But until then, nope. I'm gonna stay out here. You know, okay, I'm good. I'm healthy. Okay, now that she's gone, I actually can go around looking for stuff. I suppose. I don't know. I know I need to get gas. It actually stopped raining. Paul O'Neill. I just joined a conversation, so don't hear the whole story. We can see the stress you're carrying around. Well, you know what, Paul? There's always like a certain level of background stress. You know what I mean? Here, there's the number one stress right there. That house. Okay. Then people tell me, like, oh, you can go and rent. I don't want to rent a house. I don't want to rent an apartment. I don't want to live in a camper. That would be stressful. Living in a camper would be really stressful. Okay. I want. This is what I want out of my life. I want my own place, my own gigantic garage one day where I can work on my own shit. I'm sorry about the swear word. And just be me. Okay. All in one spot. And we're not there yet. Okay. And it certainly won't be on this block. I mean, it could be in the neighborhood here, but definitely not here in this very location. And yeah, I owe I owe mortgages on this stupid thing, and it's stressful. For me, that's stressful. You know, plus, the fact that my daughter is not going to school because they have their remote learning. That's stressful. Okay, that is really for me. That's like, you know, that is massive stress. They're paying bill stress, but health issues a different type. You carry it around inside. We men do bottle stuff up. Yep. But when I went to the doctor the other day, and I had them check my lungs, my heart rate, 76/130. They, you know, all that stuff. People are like, you know, there could be something wrong. You're gonna have a heart attack. No, I have great resting heart rate. So I don't see. The thing is, I don't do drugs. I don't smoke. I don't gamble. I don't drink. So, I mean, I don't have those things wearing me down because that stuff really wears your body down. You know what I mean? If you don't take all those, a lot of people take those, and you know what? I'm not bashing you, but a lot of people turn to the bottle or they turn to the pill or something like that or whatever to remove themselves from the stress. And that stuff, okay, there's no free ride with Mother Nature. That stuff does way more damage than the stress that you might be carrying around with you. That's my take on it. I don't know. I hope so too, Pallet Man. Huge lagging now. Oh, sorry about that, John. Maybe those terrible neighbors will leave soon. No. I would love it, but you know what? When I moved in here, the guy told me, he's like, I'm third generation owner of this property. My grandfather owned it. My dad owned it, and it got wrecked by the tornado, and now I own it. We're not moving anywhere. So that was like the move-in greeting. So the day I moved in, the howdy neighbor, hi neighbor, I got addressed with that little stamp. Like, we are the block captains, in other words. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, that's what I was told. And and the guy next door, okay, marries that. I mean, the guy next door would be fine. I don't care. You're third generation to own the property. Okay, big deal. I don't care. But he marries the girl from across the street, and that's where the problem is. The girl across the street and down. Well, she's not really a girl anymore. She's like 40 something. But yeah, her and her mom are like nuts. Him, the guy next door, he's not. He's normal, okay, but his wife is like the. That's the. I never say like like last night I had that little campfire, and she was standing in the backyard like behind a tree and just standing there, and watching because I like heard like a branch, you know, click, and I thought it was a possum scurrying across the ground, and the corner of my eye caught like, well, like, lady, what do you think I'm going to do with the campfire? I guess I've been known to like throw a pack of firecrackers in the campfire to extinguish the flames, so maybe that's what she was waiting for. I don't know. Do you ever do that to go put out a fire? That works pretty good. Get the fire out. No, King, we use water. Yeah, I know. That's the normal way, but if you want, if you just want to entertain yourself, I don't know. Let's see, what are people commenting on? Opinionated and materialistic, so don't see people for their true value. Just have closed lives like clicks. Yes, exactly. It's like a click because it's like, well, if you look at at her car, which is not there. Just the mom's car is there. The mom's car is a beater. It's actually about it's a Chevy Cavalier. No, Chevy Malibu. It's about the same overall general condition as my pickup truck. You know, but I didn't realize that coming from Oakland, Illinois, and from Chicago, where people don't obsess about stupid stuff like this. I don't want to move back there, by the way. That's about the weirdest things, like if their car. These people are normal though. Like two gray cars, they like to, or the people that are always like staring at me and stuff like that. All their cars are white, and it dawned on me. I see a lot of that out here. It's like they just want one, you know, one color scheme. It's like, or cars that have a sticker on the back. This is America, something like that, like Chicago Cubs, and you look at the car and then it's a blue car, like team colors, hey, like, nothing wrong with that, but it's just like people out here are kind of cliquish mentality more so than like where I came from, we're less cliquish, but yeah, out here, I've noticed that it's like, you know, even in the high school that my kids have gone to, you got, well, cliques are as old as school itself, but out here it's like, I think it's like cliques on steroids. There's like the outcasts, there's the jocks, there's the AV geeks, there's the drama, the theater and drama geeks. You know, uh, I always told my kids, you know what? If you join a club in high school, just join the Key Club. It's like the generic, all-encompassing club. So Eileen joined that, and I think Dominic was in it for like a year or two. That way you can be the floater. You know what I mean? Which is probably the best clique to be in. It's just be the floater. Don't assign yourself any one like label or badge. That way you can kind of like fly through the radar in high school, which is the on ramp to adulthood, and life. That's your on ramp. Oh, after high school, it's either getting a job, a career and a job, working on it, or you go to school and learn something that you can become. Because if you get off that on ramp in life and you're going to work in a warehouse and stuff like that or whatever, well, that's my fear, and that's the stress I carry around. Because that's my son Dominic, and that's Eileen. They're doing what they know. That's one of the things that I did. I graduated high school. I didn't go to college right away. I started working in a warehouse along with scrapping and stuff like that. And no, you want to become something. In this country, you want to become something. You'll have a better and easier life if you have like a title, firefighter, nurse, police officer, something. If you have like a title, I am a carpenter. You know what I mean? If you have a title, you're probably gonna have an easier life than like I'm a scrapper. Your life is gonna suck. Well, King, you're a very intelligent man. You could do it. Yeah, but you know what? The intelligence is not what the employer is looking for. They're not looking for intelligence. They're looking for they're looking for obedience, and they're looking for somebody that can navigate. You have to be able to navigate the intricate social dealings and settings of the work life, and I just can't do that. All right? So I show a major level of incompetence. So that's why finding and keeping and getting girlfriends was very difficult for me because if you don't go around as a confident man, hey, I got this. You know what I mean? Girls don't like that. Girls don't like a guy that's like, you know, let's pick a YouTube character like Mr. Scrappity. Okay, he may not have like gone to school and stuff like that, but he does have a level of confidence where it it would attract women. You know what I mean? There's a certain level of confidence, like I got this. You know, even though he goes around saying he don't might not got this. You know, women like that. Somebody like me, on the other hand, you know, like, oh well, he sounds intelligent, but then you see me in action, it's like, yeah, this guy, let me take over. This guy don't got it. No, I don't. I don't got it because I don't know what the hell I'm doing anyway. I really don't. 80s geek. Save Ferris. Good with people like that, especially if they are family. That's true. Just to be honest, self's not trying to please everybody. Also, not everybody fits in. That's fine. We are all different. We all have different skills. Each, yep. If people stopped and just talked to a homeless person, they get more from their conversation than what's latest home product or latest fashion music distraction that we lives are full of by design. Yeah, I know. You know what, Paul O'Neill? I almost think that like heavy distractions, you know, for us humans is almost a work of Satan. You know what I mean? Because it takes our mind, and it makes people not understand other people. Like the lady next door, you know, you're a hoarder. Okay, you know what? I'd like that. You know who started that like anti-hoarding thing was Oprah Winfrey. You know what I mean? I wish I could have reached through the TV screen back in the '90s and grabbed her and throttled her. Like, whirr. You know, there's something about hoarding that people abhor, and I'll never figure it out. Like, okay, well, that's not your stuff. Okay, if he's got 20 light bulbs, okay, you know, packed away in a box, they're not your light bulbs, so why are you obsessing about it? Leave it alone. It's not your problem. You know? Gill skills, Facebook technology, and people watching each other through is making us colder, fake reality than burned, I believe. Well, I mean, Paul, look, you're doing it too. I mean, start a strip club. Yeah, strip clubs here in Illinois are owned by the mafia, so you're not going to start a strip club. Okay? Not happening. All those strip clubs, they're all. John, go read, you know, Google, like Chicago Tribune stories about strip clubs in Stone Park, Illinois, being located right next to a Catholic convent, you know, where the nuns live. And the nuns live, you know, they led like a protest about, you know, removing the strip club from, not that the nuns are part of the mafia, but the mafia had the power over the local government to have the strip club placed right next to a convent. Like, really? So, my point is, stuff like that, you know, beverages in Illinois, and that's not just alcohol, but, you know, soft drinks and alcoholic drinks are controlled by a few families in Illinois. That and, you know, strip clubs and stuff like that, yeah, that's all like mafia stuff. You can't, you cannot crack into that world. It looks like there's a lot of money there, and that's why. That crap is corrupt. It's a place to stay away from. To Twitter and community tab. Wow, this is interesting mafia stuff. Yeah, if look up who owns the alcohol and beverage distribution in Illinois? And it's a few families. One of the families is the Wirtz family, who owns the Chicago Blackhawks. Okay, the Wirtz family owns the alcohol distribution. I think the majority amount in Illinois is owned by the family that owns the Chicago Blackhawks. So they are basically in control of that. You know, it's like the vending machine industry too. There's another mafia thing. You cannot crack. I know they say own a vending vending machine route, and you can make that. No, you can't. That's all mafia, because you are not going to make anything. There's a lot of money in it. In your pocket. King has the racket of the scrap mafia. Marty, I'm not in Facebook. Never have a phone. Went out about one. I watch you tube and wait. I choose to watch, not wait. Mainstream media wants me to watch. Yeah, that's true. I don't deal with the mainstream media. Mainstream media has a hold over nearly everybody in society's mind and stuff like that. Wow, this is interesting, Mafia's Day Out. Okay, B lady. They made an industry of hoarding, training doctors to help. There are too many boxes we be put into. Yep. It looks like it's gonna start raining again, so it's like on and off. And this is the weather we get just before we get the hot and humid rolls in. Like it goes from like 85 degrees, and the sun is like cooking the earth. Like the grass that's steaming moist, and yeah, the sweaty weather is just around the corner. So never snoop in on family or others. I hate Facebook. You Steel Scrap Kingdom. I loved the mafia history of Chicago and wondered if they are. You know what? The mafia is. You know the mafia. They've filtered into and melded into the woodwork and society, and it's actually worse than like when they were actually mafia characters, like that you could actually identify. The underworld is like melded into and taking up positions of power, influence, and authority, and they're just part of the establishment. So the beverage industry, though, for sure, that's a mob thing. You cannot get into that industry at all. Nope. So anytime you go anywhere and you drink a beer, okay, a little sliver of money is going to the mafia. Or anytime if you go to a strip club and stuff like that, that money, that's mafia money. That's going. What the heck do they do with that money? I mean, that's all they've ever been like concerned with is like, what do they do with the money? Because you never really actually see anything like, wow, look at that. Look at that factory that's being built. You never see where does the money go? You know, billions of dollars. Where does it go? I don't see any I don't see any tangible evidence of where the money went. That's me. I don't know. A lot of mafia are Freemasons. Yep. So yes, are totally intertwined to society and power. Well, that would be like the governor of Illinois, the 512th richest person on planet Earth. Try and get past that guy. You're not going to go anywhere. He don't care what you say about him. He's that rich and powerful. It's like, in my opinion, is now that we have him as governor, we'll never get rid of him. You know what I mean? You'll never get rid of this guy. He's here to stay. The mafia like Trump or the Clintons? I think the mafia actually, if they could get rid of Trump, they probably would. But I don't think they see a need to, because think of how like Trump came up. He came up, in New York, right? And being able to build anything in New York is almost impossible. So that guy's got experience dealing with all the little trolls and sewer, dwellers of society. And I think his his upbringing and his life experience is that probably 99% of the people want some. They want a chunk out of you. You know what I mean? You can't do this unless we get a chunk out of your flesh. So I think that's his running attitude about people in general. Not that they're all after you, but you know what? Um, Most people want a chunk out of you. Like, they see that you're being productive, they want to take a bite out of you. Even though they're not contributing to anything that you're doing, they want a piece out of it because they see that you're working hard and you're successful. Do they like the Clintons? I think the Clintons know how to. I think they know how to meld and deal with them and be part of them. Okay, you couldn't without it. Because look at Hillary. Hillary's from Chicago and she lives in New York. Okay, she's a connected individual, and look at that. I don't know what that guy's name was. That guy that died mysteriously, supposedly at the hands of the Clintons. He died in Fort Marcy Park. What was that guy? I can't remember what. That was like a mafia type of thing. I don't know. The Clintons kind of give me the creeps. Oh yeah, Gil Skills. You're not gonna get a powerful peep to go and work like try and bring somebody up and make them in the no. They want to be all connected. It's easy money. That's they like that and the power, not grafting. But what do they do with the money? Okay, easy money, but it doesn't show anywhere. Like they don't produce a product. There's something I'm not getting. Like, okay, they take in all this money, but okay, the money, where's it going? Like, what's being invested? Where is the money going? The money's got to be going somewhere. What do they do with it? I mean, there's only so much of a nice car you could buy, or clothes, or whatever. Where's the money going? Hello, my friend. Did not see you. Trash, cement, construction, more and more. Yep. Cement, cement construction. That's mafia. That's all like mobbed up. Something about concrete. The mafia is always concrete. There's something about like concrete. I mean, what's so? I guess it's expensive, right? Could that be something? I mean, concrete's worth a lot of money and it costs a lot to haul. I don't know. The Clintons scare me. Yeah, I know. The Clintons do. They do scare me because they are incredibly well connected part of the establishment. See, the problem both parties have, okay? Even though Trump is a Republican, okay, but both parties have a problem with him, okay? Because He's not one of them. He's an outsider and the wheel behind the controls. And you can tell by the way the people that are in control and the mass media have been reacting and acting ever since that guy got elected that they are out of their mind, okay? Because there's somebody behind the controls and the levers that isn't one of them. And they don't know what to do with themselves. Their whole agenda and plan has been stopped and put on hold. And each day this guy is in office is another day of waiting for them to assume control and get back into power. And the longer it goes on, I think the worse it goes for them. That might be why, this whole pandemic thing started because we had the greatest economy just a few months back. And now look, they've done everything to try and get rid of that guy. They tried the impeachment. It didn't work. And when he appointed that Supreme Court justice, they tried 9 ways to Sunday to try and prove that he was unfit. And you know what? He, from the time he was a young kid, he was told by his dad to take diary notes of every 15 minutes of your life or something like that, which seems strange. My wife's like, that's weird. Why would somebody do that? I go, I don't know. Maybe the dad had some sort of dealing or experience in his life and just told his son to keep very detailed notes of everything you do. And that proved to exonerate him because he had some fake accuser, and I forgot how they flushed out the fakeness of the accuser, but something like that. And she was put into a closed room with her, with he allegedly attacked her, and it never happened. And they proved that she had stayed or rented or lived in a house in Hawaii that only had a certain amount of square footage and only a certain amount of windows, and it was exactly the same thing that she was complaining about that made her claustrophobic. So it completely countered her accusation. My point is they've tried everything to get rid of the guy. So now they've tried destroying the economy and turning people against each other. And wow, I think the next thing they're going to try with the warm summer months is they're going to try and stir the public up and create riots and stuff like that. Or if they don't do that, they get lucky with a hurricane, okay? A very destructive hurricane, and the rescue and the salvation is mismanaged. They're going to blame it on global warming and blah, 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 and the whole secret societies are bad for the little people. Of course, they're bad for the little people, but great for them because they get to control us. The bee lady's asking the question, all the Freemason top guys are bad folks? Well, yeah, they actually are. They're not our friends. Are they knocking on your door? Fox News pro-Trump, but Sky News is Orange Man bad for how that when both media companies owned by Rupert Murdoch, it's all a show. Panamanian to divide us. Oh, of course. If you could divide everybody, that's the point of their homeless lifestyle, not cheap. Oh, okay, paper is paper. This is the mafia. Buy bricks and mortar, or actually invest into the latest everything. That could be. Yeah, if you invest in the latest everything, you have control over the next step. So, Paul, you make sense right there. I guess that's where the money goes. That's a lot of money. Wow, that's very insightful. Doesn't help me any. We don't. Yeah, it was supposed to, I don't know, like the rain when it was coming down, it was coming down hard. Now look at the street. There's no water at all. Nothing. Nothing on the windshield. This is the weather we get just before, not just a pretty face. Well, yeah, Rupert Murdoch is, yeah, part of, dividing people. That's the reason for racism too. You keep black people and you keep white people, against each other. It's a forever thing. Just generational thing. It, you make it where it's the fabric of our culture. It can't go away. It's just, and if you keep stoking it every now and then, it's like stoking a fire. It'll keep going. It'll never go out. I guess if they left it alone forever, eventually racism would eventually slowly die down. But as humans, we're naturally like cliquish and selective, so tribal. So there would always be divisions. Paul O'Neill, wow, too bad we are nice people. Oh, I don't even know why I'm still here. I'm gone, so I know why. I'm awaiting the good news. Takes a few hours if she's going to take the quick test, but she didn't tell me if it's going to be the quick test or if it's a slow test. I'm assuming that it's the, the quick test along with it. I don't know. I don't know. Not an expert, but I believe it's the cotton swab, the nasal swab, quick test. There's like there's like three different types of tests for this, and there's actually three germs that are going around, to make up this. Believe it or not, which I hate talking about the subject, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. I want to get away from it. I find myself drawn back into it constantly, though. Not really. Well, there are a few birds out. There's not really a lot. Marching around on the grass. I'm looking around at it. So, if Carol Baker is still there from Germany, what's your house? What's your house look like? You guys live in like, I don't know, the video you had of like you doing a repair on the Volkswagen. It looks like your houses are like townhomes or duplexes or something, like they're like connected or something like that. You know how like the houses where Ian Matthews lives, they look like they are all like row houses, like they're all connected to each other. I don't think they call them homes there. I think they call them flats or something, or row houses. Like here we call them townhomes. Just This is Paul O'Neill. Just learned the hard way. Prison drugs took getting to the lowest point to build self up, have positive outlook, seeing crap for it really is. Steel Scrap Kingdom. Three germs They say one is the HIV one. That could be. That's really creepy. Just to know that one of the germs that are floating around is the HIV germ that's like floating around. That's yeah. Well, as long as it can't connect with other ones, then then we're good. Ian Matthews wanted me to let you know that he still can't type anything in the chat. Could you look into that later? Yeah, I am gonna go, Gills. I think I I left comments on the last few Gill Skills videos, and he said the same thing. Ian Matthews lives on a council estate. They are homes. Okay, so a council estate is what exactly? How could you make that into American terms though? What is what is the American equivalent to a council estate? So a council is my take without you answering yet. My take on a council estate would be um, maybe a American subdivision. Like a subdivision is like a small neighborhood, small to medium sized neighborhood that's part of a larger neighborhood, and the larger neighborhood is part of a town or a city. Is that what a council estate is? Because I know in Australia and Great Britain they call different areas of a city. I guess they call them county. Are you responding? Oh, okay, exactly. Okay, so it's like a subdivision. Oh, okay. Terms and apply that directly to my area. Okay, here we go. Perfect for the chat. Okay, see the house right there on that side of the street? That would be an entirely different 100%, not 100%. That would be 70% different entirely council estate as to directly on the other side of the street. Here, this would be like all these houses right there. This is entirely different council estate. Like trash pickup on that side of the street is number one, it's mandatory, okay, and you don't have a choice of garbage pickup companies. The city appoints or awards a contract to a garbage collection company, which then charges you a fee on your taxes of your property. Now on my side, okay, you have an option of trash collection or not, and there's like 4 or 5 different trash collection companies to choose from. So I guess we're 100, not 100, but we're about 70% different council estate. Yeah. So on this side of the street, the police administration is different than on that side. Like that side of the street is Joliet, and then on this side would be the sheriff, which controls a huge area going all the way from the Indiana border to maybe like about 5 miles more to the west, and about 10 miles to the north, and about 25 miles to the south. So it's like a massive jurisdiction as opposed to a much smaller one over there. So. But I guess within that council estate across the street are individual homes like that, and then there are townhomes where the homes are connected to each other. They're constructed not as apartments, but like 4 units all stuck together. So if one person in all those units has cockroaches and mice, everybody's got cockroaches and mice. Okay, unless you have one heck of a exterminator. All right, because the cockroaches and mice don't know borders. They go through the walls and the attics So that's what I don't like about it. A mixture of local council and private bought homes. How do you mean? A mixture of local council and oh, okay. So local council, why the local council owns property and they rent them out to tenants, and a private bought home is just that. Yes. Oh, okay. How come the government owns the tenements or the homes to rent? I mean, the government here owns some properties and they rent them out to people, but that's called public housing, and that's usually for poor people. It's called Section 8. Well, not Section 8 housing because you could be a poor person and qualify for Section 8 and, you know, rent in a regular neighborhood. You could probably rent a house like that if you're Section 8, where the government gives you like 80 or 90% of your rent money and you have to come up with, a small fraction of it. And that's Section 8 or public housing. So the government could turn any individual home, I guess, into a publicly paid for home, even though a private owner owns the property. The government will pay a tenant to live there. I don't know if we're the same. I'm looking for the differences. But does the government around here own individual homes? No. We don't have that. They have, like in New York City, they have something called rent control, so the government controls how much private landowners can charge, people to rent. Government can be the biggest landlords in Ireland and the UK, but since 2008, Ireland is only Ireland by name. Vulture Funds China now owns Ireland. Well, how? How the heck did China get to take over Ireland? Why was that even allowed? Who's the sellout? There's been a total news blackout about Ireland ever becoming like one country. The counties all becoming one. I haven't heard anything about that in the media in probably about the last year or so. So I know that doesn't have anything directly about like what you said, but you don't hear anything about uh, you know the Catholics and the Protestants anymore. You don't hear anything about that, and I can't imagine that those kind of divides suddenly just disappeared off the radar. Not after 1,000 years of fighting, like suddenly, like the past year, you don't hear anything about it. Nothing. I guess if they keep that out of people's minds long enough, people forget about it. And Google, Facebook, Apple own the best areas of Dublin. Yeah, right? Major American city, the tech companies end up owning the nicest places, but you know what? They can have them. I don't really care for downtown Chicago. A lot of people like it. Okay, so maybe the fact that Google, Facebook, and Apple are owning the best places in Dublin and stuff like that. You get the generic milk toast American spin on Ireland, and you don't really get to hear about the troubles and the problems that have always plagued Ireland, and it's completely, I swear to God, off the radar. I don't even think you could search for something like that. You would really have to dig for any kind of news story because you don't hear anything about that. It's like it doesn't even exist, and you know what's going on. It's gotta be. Who did Ireland join with? Well, the big lady. No, Ireland is. It's part of the EU. Actually, I think they use the euro, where Great Britain wants to remove themselves from Bill Clinton and peace process and opened the door for globalism. Big time. Catholics and Protestants are fighting. Oh, wow. Both worried about Muslim invasion. Yeah, I remember Bill Clinton kept going back in the day, and throughout the 2000s keeps going back to Ireland, and like what the heck is the Clintons doing there in Ireland? Aren't fighting anymore. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I mean, I right now all we hear about is Nancy Pelosi and our political joke. I can't imagine after growing up since like a little kid. My parents you know love to travel to Ireland because we got family over there. There's a town and a castle with the last name Flesk. There's a river and stuff like that. So all big on going to Ireland and stuff like that. And my dad would get drunk at night, and play Irish rebel songs and stuff like that. You don't know how many times I heard over and over, "Rubber bullets for the ladies," and the song from a young time, has been drilled into my head. All those kind of fighting songs like that. So it's been drilled into my head that the Protestants and Catholics are at each other's throats, and you go from like one block or one neighborhood to another. Go from a Catholic section, which is walled off, from the Protestant section. You gotta be careful about where you drive your car because if you're a Catholic, it might get pelted with rocks and hit with a bat and stuff like that. Or if you're a Protestant, they might rip you out of your car and beat the crap out of. I I grew up with that. That constantly being played in the home and stuff like that. That's how Ireland was for 1,000 years. The waves and waves of like fighting and clashing over. If you really think about it, you know Protestants and Catholics. You're both Christians. Let's see, the bee lady, Paul. I recently watched a documentary about the potato starvation. No, yep. No, well, it was like in the 18th century. Protestants and Catholics aren't far apart, but Muslims, mosques, their culture totally alien in our little nation. History is important, but the future more important. Oh yeah, yeah. I guess at this point, Paul, in time in Ireland, the last thing that Ireland needs is some clown to try and stir up the old divides between Protestants and Catholics. That's the last thing that you need. You know what I mean? If I mean, I'm just pleased and shocked actually that Protestants and Catholics are actually getting along. That's very impressive. The bee lady. If you look back into the history of the USA, we once saluted our flag with what became the Nazi salute. Yikes. That's kind of scary if you think about it. But, you are pledging allegiance, you know, because, you want to keep it one nation, right? You don't want to have America become balkanized and you have factions all over the place to rip it apart. More evidence of people fighting. That's what people do. That's what scares me about. I'm going to go off on a slightly different tangent. Like how they want to colonize Mars, and terraform it and have people. We are pictures of school children in the USA saying the Pledge of Allegiance would be, Nazi salute. Oh, wow. Yeah, well, I mean, I understand that, but I'm not. So, how's things going?
What? Hang on 1 second. Hang on 1 second.
Have you gotten the report yet?
No,
No? Okay. So, is it the quickie test or is it.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
What are you doing?
I'm just sitting here live chatting, streaming. So,
You're what?
live streaming, chatting.
Oh,
Okay. That's about it.
okay. You need to check.
What's that, hon?
You need to check in at the warehouse.
Okay. Okay, well, no report, so. Yeah, that was the wife. The wife with the mask on, and I only put the window down a tiny little crack. That's mental, right? I'm paranoid of my own wife. I shouldn't be, but it is what it is. So. Well, I mean, it's good that she's all better, but I'm staying in the car. Okay, out of massive, overreaching abundance of caution. Okay, I just want us to be a family again. This is insane. I don't know how much longer I could mentally take this before I actually lose my mind. I'm trying to stay strong, and thanks for being there. I appreciate it. And I don't know. Since she's here and she knows I stayed here, I don't know if I should leave or if everything is cool. Oh, she went around the block. Oh, well, you know what? I'm hungry. I haven't eaten. I'm gonna say bye. Can you go home? Well, I asked her if she's gotten the report, and they said no. No, she hasn't gotten the report. I asked her if she took the quickie test, and then somebody interfered with the conversation by calling, on the Bluetooth. Uh, I'll just have to wait for her to tell me. I'm hoping for the good news. But you know what? Oh, okay. The bee lady said, "You are negative. Go home." No, no. Here's the problem. Okay. All right. The property manager, okay, is scared crapless of this disease. Okay, so I don't want anything to do with this frickin' disease. I want our house, her to be disease free before I step foot in that house. Okay, I've been pushed to that point where I'm that keyed up about it. I don't want, you know what I mean? Okay, I want it to go away, gone, be gone, demons, go away, Satan. Just, or I'll just stay here. You know what I mean? Until until she gives a negative report. Okay, and until all the knobs and everything and all the surfaces are all wiped clean and stuff like that. You know, wipe off the refrigerator door handles and stuff like that. Wash any towels that we used. Okay, I'm not in there. When did she get her result? I like. Oh, I already read that. Exactly, just cattle. Yeah, I know, right? Just cattle. That's how I feel. B lady agreed. Just dirt. Oh, the B lady agreed. Just don't live stream with the missus, so those watching aren't afraid. I'm not going to. I'm not going to go anywhere with the missus. Come back with a positive report, and we can be a family. All right, that's that simple. I'm positive. Back with a negative report. I hate that the wording. Come back. I'll just say come back disease free. Okay, and then what I'm saying. I don't need this demon in my life. I'm I'm tired of I'm tired of this Satan. You know what I mean? I don't have it. Okay, never did. All right. No, just be gone, demon. Oh yeah, man with a plan. The virus is real. The overrated. Well, the fear is really ramped up. As that by once again, I really don't like watching the YouTubers wearing these all the time because this is a symbol of fear. Okay, that's what it's become. Even though everything in certain situations, like if you go to the store, all right, or whatever, and you're around people, all right, if you're around bunches of people, and there's a chance they're gonna come right up by you, like right in your face, real close, then yeah, okay, the mask, wear the mask, all right, but I just want the demon to be gone, okay? Demons be gone. We don't need it. This virus was patented in 2006 in America, so yes, it's 100%, but it's not the killer media are making it out to be. Of course not. It's not. You know, uh, this disease is assigned to deaths. The deaths were due to something else. Okay, person had lymphoma or cancer or something like that, but they assign this virus is what killed the person. It's propaganda. But okay, you do get sick from it. I mean, you do get sick, but you don't. Uh, it's fear driven. What? The bee lady. But unfortunately, folks are shooting folks as a result of the fear. That's like a zombie apocalypse. Right, the masks are spreading fear that may never go away. what I'm worried about. You know, like in Asian countries, you know, you see pictures or images of people riding a train, and pick your Asian country, whether Japan, China especially. You got people packed in a rail car, right, with standing room only, and they're like right on top of each other. And nearly everybody, not everybody, but every time I see an image of that, about 90% of the people riding the train are wearing a mask. What's the plan for today? I don't know. Maybe I'll go around looking for scrap, but it's pouring rain out. Welcome to the norm. Neighbors ratting on others, family afraid of family. Yep, there you go, Paul. And you're seeing it right here on this channel. Look at it. I'm, I mean, to look at me, you know, I'm raggedy clothes. You wouldn't know that I'm a germaphobe, but you know, I won't eat something that even a family member took a bite out of. Way before the germ, okay? People will be like, yeah, I just took a bite out of this. Do you want the rest of it? No, I don't want it. Okay, you ate it. Okay, I don't want it. I don't want it. Can't I, can't I be that person that doesn't want it? Why do I want, I don't want it. I think that's one of the things I had troubles with you know girlfriends before in the past would be you know they take a bite out of something and they'd be like, "Here, honey, do you want this?" And I know, and people will say, "Well, didn't you kiss her?" Well, yeah, but just the fact that I don't know, even kissing somebody, boy, Kingdom, you're a lot of fun to be around. I uh, did you know when you kiss somebody, you you take on their bacteria also, and their bacteria live forever in your mouth. Every girlfriend that you've kissed, okay, lives on in your mouth till your dying day. Then you know the same strands and stuff like that. I guess that sketchiness of me comes from like overreading too much information. I see it, experience it just same in Ireland. It's the new 9/11, but a global agenda on steroids. You know what? This event makes 9/11 look like nothing. Okay, and I've talked to many people about that. It's the first thing I realized. Like, wow, you know, 9/11 was such a horrible thing. But if you look at it in perspective, yeah, it was a very horrible thing. But you know, as a country, as far as like getting up and going again, we kind of like within a month totally brushed ourselves off, and things were up and running again, and it basically directly affected certain areas of the country. And like this area, you really wouldn't know 9/11 from next week. Then for a week there wasn't anything flying in the air, there was no airplanes, and then all the rules started coming along. But you know, the fire engines all have American flags on them and stuff like that. People have American flags out of their house, but much beyond that, you wouldn't even know if you were like living in the basement for about a month during the time when that happened and you came back out, you wouldn't really notice almost any difference. Wow, I find that to be very romantic, but I am a romantic at heart, by heart. Well, yeah, I know, B lady, but you know what? I've always been sketched out by like somebody take a bite out of something and they here, honey, do you want to? No, no. Like I've never learned. I've always tried to figure out how to tactfully decline the offer. Like no, you know, you try and like blame it on my stomach don't feel good, or you know, or and you know the girlfriend would be like again. Maybe it was like what I ate, or you know, like boy, are you sure you feel good? No, I feel fine. There's like no good way out of that. That's true. Man with a plan. That was one really good way to stop the Trump rallies. Okay, you could create a pandemic. You know, everything else being collateral damage. There's no, baseball or anything like that. That doesn't matter to them. The agenda of getting rid of the outsider is far more important than anything on the earth. All right, that's determined they are. It's win at any cost. So happy you fixed the Ford. That had to be. Uh, I put a video up of me fixing it, but I lost a little piece of the video when I uploaded it. They had very straightforward. Also, most wars started true lies. Vietnam was the sinking of the Lusitania to get America a player in World War II, backed by a few that backside, so never lose. Scrap and pallet, man. I could be a germaphobe too, right? And people here, Paul, people wouldn't think that you would be somebody like you would be a germaphobe because it almost sounds counter to your existence, like you're homeless, okay, um, you had an addiction to drugs, stuff like that. So like, how could somebody that was homeless and be a former drug addict be a germaphobe? But it's entirely true. I mean, you could be. Scrap and pallet man, hello. I love your colorful thumbnail. I remember when I turned my thumbnail into like a weird green and a weird like a weird yellow and then orange. A couple of people, it's radioactive, and that's what it was supposed to be. It's supposed to be radioactive, and I got a couple of people commenting on your icon looks like Scrap and Pallet Man. So I day after I got a couple of those comments, I'm like, well, I'm not trying to copy him. You know what I mean? We want him to be unique, but mine was to be like radioactive hot metal. Like it was such a color. It was like dazzling, But I just got rid of it. Contrasting colors gain attention. So that's when I went to the channel icon of the yellow and black, Chevy pickup truck, because the yellow and black are kind of contrasting. Maybe something less abstract that people could relate directly to. I don't know. See how the Chevy is? It's basically yellow and black. So I decided to. I got a couple comments in the comment section like, "Boy, your colors kind of look like this." I'm like, "Let's go change this." I don't need that of a reputation. No, not that Scrap and Pallet Man has a bad reputation. I don't want the reputation of this channel's copycat channel. Have you thought of making a backup YouTube account? Do you have folks used to freedom and not being told what they can and cannot do? Well, true. We don't like to be told it doesn't work with our mentality. Have you thought of making a backup YouTube account? Oh, why would I do that? I mean, I have a I have another channel that I've never really used very much. Jackpot Digger knows it. It's uh mentally, like instead of mentally ill, tinnitus. Tried to look up that channel and I can't get it to come up. And Jackpot Digger didn't know that mentally ill tinnitus was actually Kingdom, and he left some comments on the like, why this is Scrap Kingdom content? Why are you taking Scrap Kingdom content? I'm like, oh crap! I'm not meaning to trick uh, fellow YouTubers into thinking that I haven't posted anything on there in like probably 2 years maybe. Yeah, you couldn't see me. Hey King, rightly so. I am protesting over here in Ireland. First Irish, last nothing in between. We been slaves in Ireland for too long, 800 years under British. Then 1920s got independence. Now in EU. Yep, Ireland always being owned by something. My first car was a candy apple red four-door Chevy Nova. Well, those are cool. What happened to it? Did it rust away? Like, because those things didn't have a victim to, in the northern states, fell victim to rusting out. When this is over, you will be able to go live now and then from your home. Enjoy your lives. Oh, okay. Well, I guess, I have to, like, pick, like, a wall. Like how a lot of live streamers, they, like, I've always wondered this, like, why do uh, live streamers have, like, a bland background or the same background? Ever watch, like, Scotty Killer? Like, when he does, like, his car talk stuff, he does it in the same, like, office. It must be in the basement or something like that with the same background. I think it's to it keeps commenters from, like, being distracted and, like, what's with what is the, boy, that's an old, I mean, then you have to answer the people in the comment section about all the other stuff, I suppose. I don't know. I asked about the backup channel because you aren't having trouble with this account being tied to your iPhone and forgetting the password. No, I can't remember all the passwords, like for the Apple account and all the other crap. So I'm stuck. Stuck with. I'm stuck with it. You know what I mean? It's the channel is part of the. No. Where's the scrap at, King? I don't know, guy. Looking curbside, I guess, right? Well, there's some scrap in the back of that truck right there. People, if you were watching the other day, people were coming by. It's raining today, so nobody's like called me or texted me that they got stuff gonna drop off. But I've had people drop off some water heaters and stuff yesterday. Like, oh, we haven't seen you. You know, nope, staying in front of the house. So the wife isn't lonely. You know what I mean? The wife sitting in the house all day by herself. Except, where my father-in-law or the neighbor or me, dropping off stuff to eat or care packages and stuff like that. Mostly my father-in-law and my neighbor. we're doing that because, you know, this is a scrap truck and not like a taxi cab or a grocery go getter. Uh, I don't for things other than scrapping. Making the scrap come to you. Well, yeah, people are like, yeah, if you've seen the video from yesterday, and when the wife left earlier, I went out looking for it just a little bit because she told me, oh, there's a catalytic converter. I'm like, catalytic converter? Well, it turned out to be a muffler for an Audi. But that's a smashed up tailgate for a pickup and some fluorescent light fixtures. What's the most you make scrapping cans? Well, I don't really scrap cans. And I will, but you know, cans are only 17 cents a pound. And for the past couple of months, about 3 months or so, there's a lot of scrap yards that won't take. They don't want to take the pop cans for some reason. I don't know if the aluminum is too cheap or what is the most you make scraping cans? Yeah, I'm not really a can guy. Once in a while, but that's about it. I'd rather die trying for kids' future, their kids' future. This is Paul O'Neill. Than lie down and accept this as the new right. Ireland, you know what? A lot of people don't know. You know, like touristy Ireland. You know, a lot of people don't know that Ireland is no longer Ireland. You know what I mean? It's been hollowed out. It's only Ireland on a name on a map. I'm sure it still smells the same. Not that Ireland smells bad. Ireland has a distinct odor. I know that sounds rude to say. Okay, that'd be like somebody from another country going, "America has a certain odor." Well, I bet you it does actually. But yeah, Ireland smells, or at least the parts of Ireland that my parents went to over and over, smells sort of like a little bit like a musty closet. I think I think a lot of that is like the peat bog. You know, if you go in like the country areas, the peat bog has a very distinctive smell. Not that all of Ireland smells like a peat bog, but it has a little, just not an overwhelming, powerful odor, but it has like a what is that? I remember they brought home a couple bottles of Coca Cola. And I'm like, I drank some of it. I thought like, oh, okay, the Coca Cola that's sold over there does not taste anything like the stuff we have. Some of the ingredients are a little bit different. Something about the mixture is not the same. It's the Coca Cola that came from Ireland tastes a little bit Pepsi to my mouth, as I remember. Like the Coca Cola that's from here has a more harsh and a little bit more bitter taste to it. The KFC in the UK tastes better. I could believe that actually, because the KFC here smells good, but when you go and eat it, it's like most of the food in America is bland anyway. It doesn't really have, it requires flavor enhancing in order to bring the flavor out. Americans and many nations come, but when leaving, they say never again. We were just another globalist. We are just another globalist nation. The industry or the touristy things are crap. and things bought in tourist stores are made in China. Oh God. Coke does not taste like Pepsi. I know that. My point is, the Coca-Cola I remember my parents bringing back from Ireland tasted more like Pepsi than, the difference was like narrower or something like that. I had it wasn't as harsh and bitter. Well, yeah, Americans coming over there never again unless you have family over there in Ireland, like my family does. Then you don't end up saying never again. You end up going back again because there's reasons other than going to the same Disney shops to go and shop for the cheap Chinese junk that is supposed to be Irish memento, even though it all came from the States. There's nothing really momentous about it. It's fake. Irish Coke probably made with IFE water. That's what gives Guinness its. Hey, that might be right. It has more of a, to my mouth, my taste. It has more of a Pepsi-ish taste to it than the American Coke. The American Coke has got more of a harsh and slightly bitter taste to it. Put it this way, the flavor came out to me because I was expecting the Coke to taste just like Coke, like American Coke, but it didn't. And somebody else in the comment section said KFC is better in the UK. I can, something, yeah, I can believe it. Hey, I'm not doing too bad for a guy that hasn't really collected a normal man hours of sleep in the past 3 weeks. Although I do feel just a little bit slightly delirious. You can probably tell in the way I'm talking. What is IFE water? I don't know, probably water that they get from a certain spring or something like that, or waterfall. IFE water, I'd have to look that up. Yeah, you know what? The same thing with Guinness is the same thing with like Chicago pizza. Like, oh, you gotta go to Chicago to have a pizza. Well, you know what? A lot of that is true because if you just come all out here to Joliet, well, we have groundwater, we have well water. Okay, the pizza out here will never taste as good as a pizza from Chicago because it's not made with Lake Michigan water. The Irish because it's made with the Liffey, a river flows through Dublin. I can different water tastes differently. I mean, the water from Joliet. If you're gonna make anything, any kind of cooking recipe, whether it's a pizza from a pizza restaurant or if it's something that you're gonna cook at home, you're using the Joliet. The recipe will never taste the same as like Lake Michigan water. It will never. There's no way. It's not gonna happen. Something. Yeah, answered. That's good to know. I never knew that beer was made. It's an important ingredient in a lot of things. Liffey is a river, and the Vikings came up and made bases in Dublin. So how many of us Irish descent people of Viking blood in us? You know what I mean? Right? I mean, there's also a lot of Irish that have uh, like Spanish or more or descent, mixed in their ancestry. Well, I don't know if the compound flooded because I'm not there, but given given my experience, the amount of rain that we had, I doubt it. You know what I mean? Because in order for it to be flooded there, you know, an hour later after the rain for like a little bit, look at the street is pretty dry. And anytime the compound is flooded, usually like the low spot in our street uh, keeps a puddle or like a flood for several hours before it drains down. I use a yardstick to figure out if it's flooded or not. Or I look at my backyard, and when I went in my backyard, the ditch between the properties, that's pretty dry still. So it takes about maybe 3 or 4 inches of rain to create a flood situation, and we had probably about and a half an inch of rain so far. So we're doing pretty good in the rain department. Our came, conquered us. We have always been slaves as long as back nation. Yep. What is it about the Irish that everybody else wants to conquer? That's a good question. Why can't you isolate yourself at the compound and do some processing? Well, I want to go out scrapping and stuff like that, and I waited for, I waited to go and waited for that proof disease, okay? Because the manager there at the compound, well, phone call interrupted, and they weren't speaking. It said Huntington, Texas. I'm like, hello, who's speaking? Anybody there? Yep. We had kings, clans, and the crown. British took all our guns, yep, cannons, and melted down to make gun money for British Empire. Ireland has a military. Yeah, but it's really more of a like a coastal defense, like a Coast Guard military sort of. Now we are getting history lessons. Paul O'Neill. Ireland never had a military, did they? Not the military that we have. Not that kind. I'm from British descent. There's Irish, English, French, and a little bit of Native American. Not even hardly enough to mention. That's why so many Irish fought in America's Civil War against the British Empire. Or not enemy. Number one, our number one enemy. Even scrapping, you are not in contact with people, and so if you social distance and mask. Oh, right. Like yesterday, somebody dropped something off, and I wasn't sure if the guy was going to get close, so I put my mask on. You know what I mean? Well, that's all. Being a scrapper, you're not around people. You're you're basically a loner. Okay. And the people that are getting this disease are people that are around lots of people. Okay. Like being a cashier or being a nurse around and in close contact with lots of people all day long. Okay. For your broken cloth mask, you can fix it by using a shoelace. Not the kind the USA has no way. Right. Oh, the military. Yeah. Oh, you seen the broken cloth mask? Where's that thing at? Anyway, I tucked it away somewhere. It was bad that I broke it, but my my mother-in-law made a bunch of them, and I went to go put it on. There are a couple of. Actually, I like these ones right here. They're convenient. What did I even do with it? I got mad that I broke it. Look, I don't know. I think this is kind of silly, but her engineering idea was to use uh, old bra straps. That's a grandma for you, right? Use old bra. But they're too small, you know. They're like for elf. If you have like little elf ears, I mean the mask itself is fine. And it's got a pocket to put the little filter things in there if you want, or if you want to stretch it out. But the ear straps are just too. Uh, I guess I don't know. I didn't throw it away. It's fail still. Yep, here goes the wife again. Let's see if. Hey there. What happened?
Are you on YouTube live?
Yeah, it's live streaming. What's going on with you?
Part?
What part?
Did you get that piece of scrap I told you?
Oh, you think it was catalytic converter? Well, it was a muffler to an Audi, so it
Well, I
was.
said it could have been a muffler.
Yeah, it was a good call. Okay, thanks. I mean, I turned and I went the wrong way and found like a broken tailgate to an old truck and some fluorescent
That's
fixtures.
fine. Good.
Yeah, so either way was a winner, whichever way I
All
turned.
right.
So. We're
Okay.
we're not fighting anymore, are we? We're all good.
Well, yeah, it's nice if you know whenever I get the all clear so I can have my family back.
Oh, so we can have the family back again. There's the wife. We're maintaining our social
Driving
distance.
around.
We got glass. What?
I'm driving in the rain for entertainment. No, I just,
Oh, really?
well, I haven't been out.
Oh, okay.
All right, bye. Bye,
Yeah,
everybody.
it's been rough being cooped up, being treated like animals. Okay, and I'm starting to get angry. Okay, I went from I'm starting to get the the mood. This is like the turning point for the mood. You know what I mean? The mood is now moving to um, anger. Okay, and not being happy. I gotta keep my mind. Okay, thought you could drop. Thought you could loop the laces around it. Hello, miss. You gave up. You gave up any of your liberties in guise of freedom, they say from a virus, you didn't deserve them liberties. Benjamin Franklin quote. Yep. Now wait, how do you how do you fight this back? Because it's genius, okay? This was an ingenious, it's ingenious, okay? And we as Americans used to be threatened that way, where our national mentality is like, oh yeah, come and get us, I got my gun, you know what I mean? No, you go around that and come up with words that will like make people afraid of each other, and you can get the Americans to turn on each other and turn on family and stuff like that. Yeah, but if other people are, that your view bringing a disease onto them, then you have to go through the process of proving that you're not diseased cattle, okay, in order to exist amongst the other humans that you might be around. So it gets us all fighting with each other. And Paul, you've seen this play out in real life on this channel. No BS, all real stuff. I swear to God, no other scrapping channel. Okay, I've like started, as far as I can tell, pretty much throughout YouTube or wherever. I'm it. I wouldn't have any place to be. Okay. No, I'm not laying down on the concrete in the garage. I guess if I had to, then I guess that's what my choice would be. Because I have to just be like staying outside, right? Get a plastic and make a tent out of it. I don't know. We're humans. We would create a shelter of some kind, right? That's what humans do. They build. We're still we're still cave dwellers. I mean, that just happens to be a wooden and plastic cave right there across the street. We live in caves. Around to feel better, I guess. Go scrapping and get rid of some of that anger. Yeah, I think I will. I think I will go scrapping. If you were in my situation, you know, you don't want. I think I have enough battery power. I took the keys out, and the buzzer still buzzes anyway. So there's the tire machine tipped over. Supposedly all that's wrong with it is the air tank. But yeah, I guess I could go around the block. Dandelions, look how tall their grass is. That's like a 1984-ish moment right there. There's a camera going around, showing the rest of the world how everything is. Can I reverse this so it's easier to aim the camera? There we go. Nope. There we go. There's a privacy fence. Yep, plastic. Correct. Okay. Now, what good would that do me? Okay. The privacy fence would not. It would not block out the knowledge. Okay. That the neighbor has that I got scrap. Okay. It's a simple knowledge. Okay. Or the knowledge that I'm working in the garage on a car or something like that. It's not the straight up fact that she can see it. It's the knowledge that she knows that I'm actually doing that. Like, does that make sense? The fact that I'm there working on something. So right there, see that black pickup truck right there? And that guy, I don't want to hold the camera because these people are like, you ever see that show Lost? We ever seen the show Lost? These people are what I call the others. Come on, John Wilde, have you seen that show Lost? Those are the others. And they control the island. See the black pickup truck? Well, the others on the island, okay, that's the well house right there. The water well. And you have a group of people in the neighborhood that do that work on a voluntary basis, but everybody in the neighborhood pays the water commission. It's like a water association commission, and they keep the pumps going, so you get charged a fee. So in our neighborhood, we don't, for some reason, this is the only neighborhood that has a community well system. There's other neighborhoods around here each house has its independent well, unless you live in the houses that are across the street. See at the end of the block here? That's Joliet proper, okay? They have what's known as city water, okay? Which is actually water from Joliet wells and it's starting to rain. So maybe I'm gonna have to cut the walk short because I don't want the phone to get ruined. But that black truck right there was one of the people with the water, I call them the water commission, or they're the others on the island. The people that were always here. They're like the first people to move in on this neighborhood. Okay, the reason why the taxes are lower on my side of the neighborhood as opposed to the Joliet side is on our side, we don't have a sewer system. Instead, we have culverts. It's like a sometimes open ditch, sometimes with a plastic, like culvert tube, and areas around the neighborhood that are prone to like flooding because see how it's got a hill like that. Now it's starting to rain quite a bit. I'm gonna have to go back to the truck. I'm gonna do my best to cover the phone, and if that doesn't work, I'm gonna have to cut this out. So my point is, the culvert system, the fact that we don't have a sewer system over here, is one of the reasons why the taxes are lower. Also, there's no sidewalk. So if you want to walk or ride your bike, you have to be in the street. So even like when my kids were little, the city of Joliet only had half of the street, and after I moved in for a few years, they widened the street and put curves on both sides, but my kids had no place to ride or play, on their bike unless they went out in the street, which is dangerous. Because my block is the only block in this whole neighborhood that has traffic on it all the time. So they weren't really allowed to ride their bikes when they were young, too much, unless I was home. See how this starts puddling? Okay, so then you go on the part where Joliet begins, and then you have infrastructure. You have sewers, storm sewers. You have streetlights. You have sidewalk. You have fire hydrants. Okay. Now on my side, which way would be the equivalent would be the